Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books. Well, today we're talking about the strategy shift at Warner Brothers Discovery, thanks to David Zaslav. He told everyone, it's great to own intellectual property, but you don't need to distribute them all on your own platform. There's nothing wrong with making a deal with another multi-billion-dollar company who wants to write you a gigantic licensing check to use your projects. They will finance them, they will promote them, and the more places that you get to see Batman, just like the more places that you get to see Spider-Man, the more valuable that character is because they're ubiquitous, they're everywhere. Now, I've been doing videos on Warner Brothers Discovery. This was my 85th video in the last few months. I'm very, very interested in what they're doing at Warner Brothers Discovery because they're focused very much on two things. One, character identity and making sure that the character is on brand. As Zaslav says, he knows he's doing good content when the audience likes it. The audience will tell him what's good. Secondly, they're focused on making money. They're not focused on any other kind of agendas than that. They keep the quality of the brand, they focus on making money, and that leads you to this announcement and this deal. Coming from The Verge, Warner Bros. Discovery and Amazon are teaming up to produce new animated projects. They don't give a lot of details on the projects just yet, but it's also unusual that we even hear about it at all, because it's not a done deal, but it's clearly a close to done deal. Let's get into the article. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up when you like it. You guys have been great. The channel's growing and I really, really do appreciate you. Warner Bros. Discovery and Amazon are teaming up to produce new animated DC projects. Warner Bros. Television Studios chair Channing Dungey recently revealed that the studio is partnering with Amazon and thinking very seriously about Harry Potter in a spin-off series. Warner Bros. Discovery's television-focused production arm is partnering with Amazon Studios to create new animated projects based on DC Comics intellectual property, yet another sign of how the company is changing under CEO David Zaslav's leadership. During a keynote session at C21 Media's annual Content London event this week, Warner Bros. Television Studios chair Channing Dungey opened up about some of the new moves the company plans to make as part of Zaslav's vision for its future. According to Variety, Dungey expressed excitement for her division in particular and pointed to Zaslav's openness to collaborating with outside production outfits as one of the major reasons why. Unlike the old guard, who felt like everything had to stay in-house, we don't want anything to go outside, Dungey said that Zaslav's been far more keen on the idea of working with others and getting the studio's content onto platforms it doesn't own outright. Quote, David Zaslav has been much more open to our exploring all of our animated intellectual property and being able to do it on different platforms, Dungey said. Certainly, HBO Max is going to be our first stop, but we're already in process with closing a big deal with Amazon that's going to feature some of our DC branded content in animation. This is really unusual. I don't know why, and I don't necessarily think it's a good thing. I think this is a negative thing to be talking openly about a deal that hasn't been closed yet. Apparently, she's incredibly enthusiastic about this, and she can't just shut up about it. Channing, maybe close the deal first and then talk. But that said, sometimes this is for a strategic purpose that someone would let slip something like this, but she didn't seem to let it slip. She's talking about it openly. Better to have a deal close and then talk about it. Let me know if you agree with that in the comments below. While Dungey didn't go into detail about what the big Amazon deal entails, like whether these new projects will live on both Amazon Prime and whatever HBO Max becomes, because HBO Max is going to merge with Discovery Plus in the spring, Zaslav made it very clear his desire to double down on existing intellectual property like Superman. You know, why not? If you own Superman, you ought to be using Superman. Zaslav also stated that he's interested in returning to the world of Harry Potter to cash in on the franchise's still extant popularity. Everybody knows what Harry Potter is. It's very popular. Why not build that brand? Why not build that world? Expand it. A sentiment Dungey echoed and said that the studio is currently having a number of different conversations about it. Quote, I wish I could tell you that something was imminent on the horizon, but there's a lot of interest and a lot of passion for it, so absolutely. Dungey said this in response to a question about whether a scripted Harry Potter might be in the works. Quote, our unscripted team did a fantastic Return to Hogwarts special for HBO last year that resonated so tremendously that we then did a quiz show called The Tournament of Houses that Helen Mirren was the host for. The audience is ready. They want to go, so we're just going to have to figure out what the right next step is. The Verge says this, in light of recent layoffs and restructuring at Warner Brothers, it makes a certain amount of sense that the studio is moving to outsource some of that work to third parties. What's interesting is this is not about layoffs. You know, Amazon has talented people there as well. Warner Brothers Television, they have talented people. You're not going to lay off your best people that you need right now anyway. There's a limit to the amount of talented people in any industry in the world. So for them to be able to access some of that great creative talent, for them to be able to have Amazon spend, what are they going to spend? Millions, maybe tens of millions, as well as pushing it really heavily on their website. Any of the intellectual properties and animated projects that they do with Warner Bros. Discovery, what's that going to do for Batman? What's that going to do for Superman? Any of the projects that they take on. It's going to make them more and more ubiquitous and make them more and more valuable. And then when Zaslav turns around and he's going to do the next big Batman project and the next Superman project, he's got all this momentum that Amazon helped build. Amazon doesn't mind because they need the content. They need the animated shows. They want to keep people on Prime. And even better, Prime has people that spend a lot of time on Prime. HBO Max is going to have a lot of people that spend time on that. So if he can get a deal done, and it looks like they are getting a deal done with Amazon, for Amazon to promote their content on Amazon's platform, he gets to reach a whole new audience that he otherwise couldn't have reached, that then maybe become interested as well in HBO Max and other, say, DC-based projects that wind up on HBO Max. It's brilliant. It works for everybody. And this is what happens when you get a good deal maker and you have people thinking, out of the box about what really makes sense, not egotistically about, well, it's ours and we don't want to share it with anybody. They're never giving up the rights to Batman. They're just going to license the rights for them to do some animated shows. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Do you agree with me that this is really a brilliant strategic shift in the handling of the intellectual properties? Or do you think, nope, they should really just have everything Batman should only be on HBO Max and that's the way it should always be, or only be in the theaters? They have their own distribution. They should only use their own distribution. Don't let Amazon make money off them or anybody else. Let me know what you think. But what's interesting about this story too is Amazon doing a deal with Sony for the Spider-Verse characters so that Amazon will ultimately have, Marvel and DC content of new shows on their platform, and who would have thought that would happen? Maybe they'll have a crossover for Marvel and DC characters on Amazon. I don't know. Anything's possible. But do let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.